الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islam wa Sunnah. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the Sunnah. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has sent down unto us a deen that is in the middle way. And we have guidance inside of the deen for every aspect of our lives. Wallah alhamd. This is a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bila shak wa bila rayb. Undoubtedly, this is a bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has blessed us with the likes of this deen. There was an incident in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this incident had taken place, so we have a little bit of background information. It had taken place before the ayat of hijab were revealed, so we can understand a little better what we see in this incident. And this is on the authority of Abu Juhayfa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu قال. He mentioned, he said, أخى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين سلمان وأبي الدرداء, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made as brothers, because we know when the Muslims made the hijrah from Mecca to Al-Madinah, when they arrived at Al-Madinah, the Muslims in Medina, the Ansar, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would take one of the Muhajir and one of the Ansar and put them together as brothers, so that one may look out for the other one may help the other one get on their feet, so on and so forth. Now, so the Prophet ﷺ, he had done this amongst the Sahaba, and two who he put them together, they were Salman and Abi Darda. فزار Salman Aba Darda. So one day, Salman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he visited Abu Darda radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. فَرَأَى الدَّرْدَاء, and he saw الدَّرْدَاء. الدَّرْدَاء, this is, who knows? She was the daughter, the sister, the grandmother, granddaughter, wife of Abu Darda. Which one? He was his wife. Nah. So he saw Darda mutabadhila. He saw her, and she was mutabadhila, means that she was in like her house clothes, the house clothes in which she would do chores in and things like that. It's not pretty, it's not beautiful, the type of clothes that you put on to do work, right? Because she was tending to the affairs of the house, and due to some other things in the situation, these clothes were appropriate for her circumstance at that time, right? So when Salman saw her like this, and again, this was before what? Before the ayat of hijab. This is before the ayat of hijab. Now, so when he saw her like this was concerning to him, right? So he asked her, he said, "Ma sha'nuki mutabadhila?" He said, why are you like this? Why are you dressed in this manner? Qalat, she mentioned, and I want you to reflect on her answer, because inshallah ta'ala we'll come back to this point when we look at some of the benefits we gain from this narration. But I want you to reflect on her answer, which shows that she was extremely intelligent woman, radiyallahu ta'ala anha. She mentioned, qalat, she said, إن أخاك أبا درداء ليس له حاجة في الدنيا. She said, your brother Abu Darda, he has no need for anything inside the dunya. Right? He has no need for anything inside the dunya. Meaning in this worldly life. قال, he goes on to narrate, he said, فَلَمَّا جَاءَ أَبُو دَرْدَاء. He said, so once Abu Darda returned home, قَرَّبَ إِلَيْهِ طَعَامًا, because food was prepared for Salman, because he was the guest, right? So, from the outstanding manners that the Muslims are to have is that when you have guests, you prepare something for them, whether that be some food, right? Or whether it be a very good snack, like some finger sandwiches and some tea and some cookies, some biscuits, something like this. But when you have a guest at your home, you should give them something. You should serve them with some food and some drink, some fruit, right? If you have some fruit, whatever the case is, but you should show them this hospitality. This is from the ways of the Muslims. Now, this is from our ways. Not like the ways of the kuffar, because the kuffar, they're very stingy. They will eat in front of you, and they won't even offer you anything. Now, they will eat in front of you and tell you, wait right there, wait till I'm finished, and when I'm finished, we can go. Won't even offer you anything to drink. This is bad adab. The Muslims, not only do, if we're eating, we have a plate brought for whoever it is there, or we eat from the same dish, but even if we're not eating, we present them something. And you don't ask them. You don't ask them, what would you like? You don't ask them, tea or coffee. You don't ask them. If tea and coffee are an option, then you bring both, and you let them choose. You don't ask them water or juice. You bring the water and the juice. You bring what you have and you present it. And once they have given an indication of what they want, then you serve them. Then you pour out the water, you pour out the juice, and you hand them the cup. This is from the good adab that the Muslims are to have. And not just amongst ourselves, but even when you have non-Muslims come to your house, family members, whoever they may be, you show them this good adab. You show them this good adab, and you make known to them, you make it clear to them, this is what my deen teaches me. This is how we are to be. Right? Okay. So food was made. Food was made. So when Abu Darda came, Salman, he said unto him, فَقَالَ كُلْ. He told him, eat. Eat. Now, so Abu Darda, he mentioned, he said, فَإِنِّي صَائِمٌ. He said, I'm fasting. I'm fasting. Now I want you to keep one thing in mind. He saw Darda in a state. Right? And that state was what? Who remembers? She was in the house clothes. She was looking like she was doing some work around the house, right? And he asked her, he was concerned about this state. And then she told him what she told him. Your brother has no need for the dunya. Right? I want you to reflect on that. Because most people, if you went to your brother's house and you saw your sister-in-law, right? And she was in a state like this, and she told you something about your brother, as soon as your brother came home, what would you do? You have some words for him, right? Akhi, let me talk to you. What's going on? Your wife told me X, Y, and Z, right? But I want you to look at the situation. Up until now, Salman, he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything to him. But he told him, he heard what she said, he saw what he saw, he heard what she said. But he didn't mention anything to his brother. Now he put the food, he said, come eat with me. He said, I'm fasting. So listen to what he told him. He said, مَا أَنَا بِآكِلٍ حَتَّى تَأْكُلْ. He said, I'm not going to eat until you eat. I'm not going to eat until you eat. قال فأكل. So then Abu Darda, he ate. He ate. Now seeing the situation and seeing the concern of Salman for his brother and for his sister as well, he stayed the night. He stayed over the night. He said, I'm going to spend the night. He actually spent the night. They allowed him to spend the night. Okay? So he stayed the night. فَلَمَّا كَانَ اللَّيْلِ. So when it was in the nighttime, mind you now, he's staying over. When it was the nighttime, and mind you, he didn't say anything. Let me to this time. After the meal, all the way into the night, right? Everyone retired to for rest, for sleep. He still didn't say anything. So when it came to the night, this was in the first part of the night, Abu Darda, ذهب Abu Darda ليقوم. He got up to pray some tahajjud prayer. فقال له سلمان. So Salman said to him, Nam. Told him, go back to sleep. Not yet, go back to sleep. So فنام. So he went back to sleep. ثم ذهب يقوم. Then a little bit later he tried to get up. فقال له. So Salman, he said to him again, Nam. Go back to sleep. فنام. So he went back to sleep. فلما كان عند الصبح. So when it was close to subh, which is an indication what? When it was the last third of the night. During the last third of the night. So he slept 2/3 of the night, the last third of the night. At this time, فقال له سلمان. Then Salman said to him, قُمِ الآن. Told him, get up now. Now it's time to get up to pray. Get up now. فقام. So they both got up. فصليا. And they both prayed. Now, after all of this, now after seeing him trying to get up all hours of the night to pray, after seeing that he was fasting, he wasn't eating, after hearing what he had heard from Darda, after seeing her in the state that he saw her in, because there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that, right? After seeing her in the state that he saw her in, now at this time, he has some words of advice for him. Now at this time. So he told him, after they prayed, he told him, فَقَالْ إِنَّ لِنَفْسِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. He said, verily, your body has a right over you. Your body has a right over you. Right? Now, reflecting over this, because this is a short reminder, so I don't want to be too long and drawn out. But let's reflect and extract some benefits. He said, verily, your body has a right over you. What two instances in this situation do we see, or can we extract the body having a right? In which two occasions?
The one man first when he attempted to get up for tahajjud.
Now, the two occasions when he tried to get up for tahajjud, right? So the advice from Salman was what? No, get some sleep. Get some rest. And then the last third we'll pray. So no, get some rest. Sleep most of the night. And in the last third of the night, then we can pray. Right? So that's one indication. Because the body has a right. What's another indication?
Looking at his wife, it showed neglect.
Not necessarily neglect in that sense, but we'll come back to that one, because that actually shows something else. But when's another situation where he told me your body has rights on you? He was fasting. Now, the fact that he was fasting, because we understand from this, right, that he used to fast a lot, right? So he's letting him know, listen, your body has a right on you. So yes, you fast, and the best fast is to do what? You fast one day, then the next day what do? You break your fast. Then you fast the day after that, then you break your fast. So you mix between fasting and eating, because your body has a right. Because your body has a right on you. Okay. Then he said, وَلِرَبِّكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. And your Lord has a right on you. Where's this illustrated? Where in this exchange did they establish the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Huh? Now, when he got up and they prayed in the last third of the night, now they established the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Okay, so already we see from this, you could establish the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is not going to be at the detriment of you establishing the rights of your body upon you. You can establish them both. One does not negate the other. You can have them both together. Okay? And then he said, وَلِضَيْفِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. And your guest has on you a right. Your guest has on you a right. You have to give your guests their rights. Now, what's an indication from this exchange where the guest insisted upon receiving his right to eat with him? Now, because as a guest, you feel funny if you're eating by yourself and the person serving you is just sitting there. You feel more comfortable if you eat together. It's more pleasant of a visit if we eat together, right? So he established that like this as well. And your guest has on you a right. وَأَنَّ لِأَهْلِكَ. And look what he saved for last. Look what he saved for last. He said, وَأَنَّ لِأَهْلِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. He said, and your family has a right on you. Your family has a right on you. Now, family meaning here who? Darda. Darda, she has a right. You have to give her her rights. Because what about her situation, her being dressed in her house clothes, is an indication that not all of her rights were being fulfilled. Huh? No, not clothing. Because here's the thing. She had nice clothes. She had nice clothes. But she didn't put them on. Huh? Hey, you are now. I'm not going to tell his answer. I'm not letting y'all slide like that. There was no need for her to beautify herself because in her answer, remember her answer was very wise. She said, your brother has no need for anything in this world. Meaning what? Her included. He has no desire for anything in this world. He's not interested. So this was her very shy way, because one of the takeaways of this is the extreme shyness that she had. Now, extreme shyness. And it also shows her intelligence. She was very intelligent. She said, your brother has no need for anything in this world. So yeah, I can put on these house clothes and it's fine. There's no need to get dressed up. Right? So that's an indication that he is not fulfilling her marital rights. Except on occasion, of course. It wasn't, right? But your family has on you a right. So then, Salman, he told him, he said, فَأَعْطِي كُلَّ ذِي حَقٍّ حَقَّهُ. So give everyone who has a right their rights. You have to give everyone their rights. You could fast, but also make sure you eat. You could stand and pray, but also make sure you sleep. You could devote many hours of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but make sure your family is also receiving their rights and that you're making them happy and the like. Now, what happened was, because see, the Sahaba, they were as such as that they did not try to figure things out and make things up as they went along. Right? They lived their lives according to the guidance in which they had learned from the Prophet ﷺ, the guidance in the Qur'an. But with the Prophet ﷺ in their midst, they just didn't say, well, no, I read the ayah, that's it. Oh, no, I heard what the Prophet ﷺ said the other time, that's it. Not like us, right? Us, Allah musta'an. But they did what? They went back and double-checked with the Prophet ﷺ. فأتيا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So they both went to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم فذكر ذلك, and they mentioned to him what had taken place and what was said. نعم. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم صدق سلمان. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, Salman spoke the truth. What he told you was 100% correct. نعم. You have to give everyone who has a right their rights. نعم. That Salman, he was correct in what had transpired. This hadith has come in Al-Bukhari and in other places. Hadith is authentic. There are tremendous amounts of takeaways that we gain from this hadith, some of which we have already mentioned. But from them, the ulama, they mention, is a dalil على أن الإنسان لا ينبغي له أن يكفل نفسه بالصيام والقيام وإنما يصلي ويقوم. It shows us that an individual does not have to burden themselves and make it difficult on themselves with fasting and with standing, but rather they fast, or to pray and to stand up and to pray and then to sleep. Now, they fast and then days they break their fast. ويقوم على وجه يحصل به الخير, that they will do their acts of worship in a manner in which they're able to attain what is good, وَيَزُولُ بِهِ التَّعَبُ وَالْمَشَقَّةِ, but also in a manner in which they do not overtire themselves and do not make things extremely difficult upon themselves. So you could worship and you could strive hard in your ibadah, but this does not mean you have to break yourself all the way down to where it becomes almost unbearable for you. Now, an individual, they fast, and they're so weak they can't even lift their arm, can't lift their head, and they think it's from righteousness, but no, I'm still fasting. And we see this in the voluntary fast, or at the times where you're allowed to break your fast inside of the travel, where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لَيْسَ مِنَ الْبِرَّ الصِّيَامِ فِي السَّفَرِ, that is not from righteousness to fast during traveling. Why? Because it had become difficult. Now, so if you're traveling and you're fasting and you have fainted, or you feel like you're going to faint, and you feel so weak and this and that, it's not from righteousness to continue to fast. But at this point now, you have to break your fast. Okay? So we can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but this is not to our detriment, because worship is never to our detriment. Worship is for our benefit. It's so that we benefit. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is never going to write something on you by way in which you hurt yourself. No, everything in the deen for you is good. Now, everything in the deen for you is good. Where there's some difficulty in it, that's good, because that increases the reward. But to put upon you that which is meant to break you, Allah ta'ala never has written anything upon us that is meant to break us. Imam Ibn Qayyim, he mentions the same thing like when we get sick. When we get sick, right, we fall ill and things of this nature. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never puts any burden upon you, never puts you through any test, anything that requires patience. He never puts you through any circumstance like that where the intent is to break you. Never. The intent is to purify you. The intent is to raise your rank. The intent is to give you an opportunity to be patient. But it's never that which is going to break you. And thus Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He puts upon each and every one of us tests, trials that are conducive to us. So what I'm tested with is what I can handle. You're tested with something different. You're not tested with what I'm tested with. Although you may look and say, well, my test seems harder than yours. You may look at me and say, well, my test seems harder than yours. Yeah, because you can handle that. I can't handle that. Right? And although my test may seem easier to you, if you were put on you, you couldn't handle it. But I can handle it. Allah Ta'ala tests everyone with what they can handle. Now, He never puts on you what you can't handle. Because it's never the intent is to break you. The intent is to elevate you, and so that you may get sins removed from you, to purify you. But it's not to break you. So if this is the case as relates to tests and things that are distasteful, so of course those things that are written to be obligatory upon us, they're not meant to hurt us. They're meant to benefit us. Now, so this is very, very important. Also from this, we see the manner in which you are to speak to a woman who is not mahram for you. Now, because now, Darda, the Prophet ﷺ made them brothers, but they weren't physical blood brothers, right? So he spoke to her in a manner that was befitting. So what he had mentioned to her, why are you in a state like this? And she responded back to him, your brother has no need for anything in this world. That was it. It was to the point, very clear. And what she mentioned was to the point, very clear. They didn't go into any extra talk. They didn't go into any side talk. This has to be mentioned and like this. So it shows you the adab when you're speaking to a woman who is not mahram for you. And likewise, for a woman, when you're speaking to a man who's not mahram for you, then it shows you how you are to speak to them. And that is for a need or an advice. If you're advising someone, then you advise them. If there's a need, then you mention what needs to be mentioned, and that's it. You don't have to go beyond that. You don't go beyond that. So this is another point of benefit that we get from this narration. Also in this, we see the superiority of praying in the last third of the night. Praying at the last third of the night. This is the best time to pray. Now, also we see in this the permissibility of breaking a voluntary fast. And this was a fast and it's a tatawwu'. So, Siyam tatawwu' basically is a fast for no reason outside is I'm going to fast to draw near to Allah Ta'ala. But there's no reason for the fast outside of that. So this is what's called tatawwu'. So you can break you're fasting tatawu'an lihaja aw limaslaha. You can break your fast for a need or for a benefit. Now, there's a greater benefit, then you break your fast. Now, like in this case, you had a guest, you are anticipating this guest to come, you want to extend to them good hospitality, so you break your fast and you eat with them to make their stay, to make their visit even more beautiful. Now, also, in it, and this is for the women, now, Darda, she had an excuse because her and her husband had the understanding, you don't have to beautify yourself like this, this is how I am, so it's okay. They had the understanding, no problem, right? However, I'm saying no problem in the sense that they had the understanding. However, was this the optimal way? No. The optimal way was that everyone should beautify themselves for everyone so that everyone may enjoy everyone else's company in a manner that is halal between husband and wife, right? That's how it has to be, okay? But in this, we see the obligation, or the legislation, rather, I should say, the legislation for the woman to beautify herself for her husband. Now, that the woman should beautify herself for her husband. And this, especially in this society, the people that we live around, these non-Muslims, at times when Muslims minorities live in a Kafir society, with a Kafir majority, they begin to pick up some of the habits of the majority in the society. So they become influenced by them. Now, and one thing that is well known, that has unfortunately crept into the houses of the Muslims, is that the woman will look her worst in the house, looks her best when she goes outside. In the house, looks her worst, right? They have sweatpants on. They don't make themselves up. Allah, they might even wash their face and brush their teeth. Allahu alam. Man. But they walk around the house and they look a mess. Have bonnet on their head or the shower cap or whatever, right? Looking crazy. But now it's time to go out. They get dressed proper. They put on nice clothes. They make sure the shoes matching and everything. Hair's done. They may have sister come put henna, everything. To go what? To go to a walima? Subhanallah. But then you walk around your house the whole time looking horrible for your husband. Then you go around the sisters, you got henna, you got, mashallah, everything, right? Allah musta'an. Anyway, this is how they act. But unfortunately, we've seen this creep into our homes. Meaning the homes of the Muslims. I'm not saying the people here. So I don't even, anybody thinking, my husband talking about me. No, I don't. Me had that problem here, inshallah. Right? But in general, we see this happening, unfortunately. Now, the reality of it is that you should always try to look your best for your husband. Now, you know what time your husband comes home. So you have all day to be in your house clothes, no problem. Before he comes home, okay, now you want to make sure you showered, you make sure you're like this. But also on the flip side as well. The sisters, I think the sisters get the point, right? You have to beautify yourself for your husband. But also it's on the flip side as well. Because it's not going to be right, for your wife to beautify herself for you, then now you come home and you still looking a mess. You don't rush to take a shower. SubhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ, when he used to go home, we used to wake up, right? We used to wake up and we used to go into his house. Do you know what was the first thing, one of the things he used to do? Anyone know? He used to siwak. He used to brush his teeth to beautify his breath he's allowed to talk to his family now. Now, subhanAllah, brothers come home after all day and everything and they don't brush their teeth. Now, they don't brush their teeth. They approach their wife coming straight off of, from the office, straight from the mechanic shop, straight from whatever, straight in from work, and they just talking with their wife. Hands dirty, dirt under your nails. Yeah, subhanAllah. This is not how it should be. But the same way you would like for her to beautify herself for you, you should beautify yourself for her. So you should make sure that now you come home and straight to the bathroom. Make sure you brush your teeth, make sure you take a shower, you put on some nice smelling oils, right? So there shouldn't be a single Muslim man, except you should have enough oils, enough things so you can smell good. Nah, nothing you can smell good. And make sure you smell good. None of that just little dab and that's it. You think that's enough. No, you should smell good for your wife. Nah, you should smell good for your wife. Your clothes should smell good. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to put oils in his hair. Your beard should be combed. It should be groomed. Your skin should be lotioned. Don't walk around looking ashy and with chapped lips. This is not good. It's not good. The same way you don't want your wife like that. How are you going to be like that? You think you don't want to touch her? She looking like that. You think she want to touch you? Yeah, subhanAllah. Your hands feel like sandpaper. You think she want to touch you? I'm being honest, right? Do you think? No, not at all. The same way you want her to look good for you, you have to look good for her. Now, it's not for her to do jumping jacks and all this type of stuff to make sure she's in shape because she had a few children, but then now you can become whatever. No, you need to make sure that you are keeping yourself in good physical health as well. Now, because it's important that we take care of ourselves, that we eat right. It's very important. It's very important that we eat right, healthy, good stuff. Not saying you can't have snacks and you can't. No, you can. But to make sure that you're eating a healthy diet. It's very important. To make sure that you're exercising. To make sure that you're doing what you can do from exercise. So if that means walking, if that's jogging, whatever the case is, that you're staying in some kind of shape for your wife and a wife for the husband and so on and so forth. Why? Because what has a right on you? Huh? Your family now. And your body has a right on you. Your body has a right. All of this is in line. Now, Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, he used to sprint. Not even run. He used to sprint back and forth, back and forth. He would sprint. And they said, what are you doing this for? Why are you just running around like this? And he would say, to keep myself in good shape. So that if ever the time should arise where the call is made to struggle in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm physically ready. So he would do this. Now, so jogging, running, bicycling, whatever the case is, to stay in good shape, this is good. This is good, and we should be employing these things. So likewise, and why it came to mind to mention this here today is because when we have the likes of these free clinics for the community, now, then no doubt this is for the community. But when we say community, we don't mean the surrounding community first. No, we mean us first. And then whoever else wants to come in, yes, you too, is for everybody. But if it's for you, then definitely it's for me. Right? When I'm saying like that, if it's for any Jew, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, whoever off the street, then of course it's for the Muslims. First and foremost. Are people uncomfortable I say that? I'm sorry, but I believe we take care of us first. Then we take care of other people. But I'm not going to take care of somebody else and my brothers is not being taken care of. It don't work like that with me. No. We're going to take care of everybody. But my brother's definitely making sure he's going to get taken care of. My sister definitely should make sure she gets taken care of. Before Miss Annabelle Smith gets taken care of, then of course Miss Fatima, she's going to be taken care of first. And like this. So anyway, we got to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves, brothers. And a part of that is that we have to make sure that we're getting our screenings, our annual checkups, because it's very important. It's very important. The earlier you can detect the problem, the quicker you could start trying to treat it, inshallah ta'ala. Now, because this is what we're commanded to do. The Prophet ﷺ said, take medicine. We have to take medicine. This is from our deen. We take medicine. Now, of course, we all know there's going to come a day that ailment is not going to go nowhere. You're going to die. Everyone has to die from something. Now, but before that point, we have not been commanded to just don't care about nothing. Because our body has a right. So you have to eat good. You have to stay in good shape. Does that mean you're going to live longer? No, you're going to live exactly as long as you're supposed to live. Not a second more. Not a second less. But we have to give the right. We have to take care of that which Allah Ta'ala has given us and treat it in a good manner. Because this is from the way, in a manner in which we show appreciation. Now, for the gifts in which Allah Ta'ala has given us, that we strive to take care of them. Now, no matter how much you stay in shape, your knee's going to hurt, your back is going to hurt. The older you get, the stuff is going to start to, because that's how it works. That's life. But that's good, because I'm going to tell you something. It's much better to live to see the pains of an old man than it is to die young. You understand that? It's much better to live to see the pains of an old man than it is to die young. Because the longer you live, the more you can supplicate to Allah Ta'ala. The more you can say, Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. You understand? The more Qur'an you can read, the more you live. So it's good. The fact that you have lived to the point that your back hurt, you live to the point that your eyes are going, that's good. Because that means you live for a long time. So make sure you fill your life with khair. Nah? Make sure you fill your life with khair. But take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. It's very important because your body has a right on you. Your Lord has a right on you. Your guest has a right on you. Your family has a right on you. And you have to do what? You tell me. Huh? Fulfill the rights, but what? Give everyone who has a right their right. So that's to do what? You have to give everyone who has a right their right. So what is it you tell me? Give everyone who has a right their right. Well, what's up, babe? Y'all be freezing on me. So what is it again? To do what? That's it. That's it. So inshallah ta'ala نكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.